In this workout, we're going to dissolve the gates of the shoulders, and I'll take you through all 4 of them as we get there. But let's start by settling in and finding the alignments of the legs and the feet. So just as best you can, letting a sense of heaviness and weight settle into your legs. You're looking for the density in the tissue and the muscles to kind of release and let go. But in the joints, you want a kind of open, pung-like quality that's going to allow the weight to fall through them. So there's a little bit of a contrast between muscles and bones on the one hand, and the openness and the lightness of the joints in the other. There is a sense you can find of the weight falling through the joints and chi sinking through the joints. But in general, the first thing you want to avoid, especially with the leg joints, is any collapse, any sense of deadness. I'm talking about your knees, your ankles, and to some degree the hips and the quad as well. So just settling in, seeing what you can find. And if you really get the legs to relax, feel like you have an easy contact down through the floor, through the feet, you can also do a little sinking through the whole body to begin to settle in. So from the shoulders to the hips, the sense is sinking and dropping. Feel the blades dropping down through the hips and the butt, through the armpits relaxing down through the sides of the rib cage. And feel the chest falling into the quad and the belly. Those waves of letting go from the shoulders just go all the way down. Let them fuse into the ground, into the floor if you can. And once you kind of turn on that heaviness, turn on that sinking, let it pull down through you, let it help you get anchored. But now, while that's going through that sinking, just run your mind up through the spine. It's another set of joints that needs to be open. So through the heaviness of the tissues sinking down, you find a little rise, lightness, and openness through the joints of the spine from the whole back, but then especially through the neck, where the skull sits on the spine, and up through the crown of the head as we settle in to some dissolving. Remember, as we do workouts that start to focus further down the body, now we're into the torso, you want to just re-dissolve, re-check in at the gates of the neck and the head every time. In a light way, we're not going to spend as long at each one, but it helps prime the sense of releasing energy and dropping down through the body. from the crown of the head now, feeling down to the temples and the third eye. And lightly checking in, lightly touching from the outside surface layer. It's not trying to go into the body and dig out at things or break through them, but it's a light contact with the mind to get them to resolve and release energetically instead of forcing them to move physically. Coming down now into the eyes, feeling the eyeballs themselves, eventually having a sense of the space behind the eyes, the optic nerve, and the gate on the back of the eyeball. And then down to the ears, the jaw, and section by section down through the neck. Starting with where the skull sits on the spine. And trying to discern, trying to feel the spaces between the vertebrae. Again, this is a very light quality. And what you'll notice is if you get some of this stuff going and you're standing, you may feel things directly release and resolve while you're standing, but you're also setting yourself up for more of an unfolding after the practice. Or if you continue and do cloud hands, the swings, the spine stretch, the full energy gate's set when you finish your standing, go into Tai Chi, some other form of Qigong, whatever it is. If you do the stillness practice right, you're kind of kicking off an energetic cascade that will continue to release and resolve beyond just the act of putting your mind there at this moment. And by working with the mind this way, you're also setting up a kind of awareness that will allow you to be present to the releasing and resolving that goes beyond the actual moment of practice. So you head towards a state of energetic sensitivity and awareness that allows you to extend your practice beyond your practice. Start to notice things more throughout your day. Let's get all the way to the base of the neck. And now feel to the front of the body. Feel the channel we worked on last time from the roof of the mouth down through the breastbone. Feel the texture of the whole channel, where it's stuck, where it's smooth, where it's difficult to put the mind, where it's easy. And you work sort of from an intuitive sense of balancing out the whole thing. Letting it release, let go, and dissolve at whatever pace it needs to. Now, from the throat, feeling out to the shoulders, we're going to start at the tops of the shoulders, at the tips of the shoulders. So it's at the very end of the collarbone. And treat it like the crown of the head when you're finding the gates of these areas. Start with the surface area. Rest your mind there. And as you feel the whole surface, so pick an area at the top of the shoulder, the tip, see if you can detect a difference between just the skin, the surface, and if you rest your mind in that space, eventually the distinct feel of the gate will emerge without you having to visualize it or imagine it. Try to do it by feel with these gates. So just resting your mind out at the tips of the shoulders. The way the shoulder works, the way you open it up is that there are 3 gates around the outside. And then we move into feeling the center from deep inside the armpit. So first it's the top of the shoulder that we're trying to feel and that we want to go for. And what you're starting to develop now, especially in the shoulders, but anytime you have something on the left side of the body and the right side of the body, there's a quality of mind that's going to allow you to feel them both, left and right, simultaneously. So this is something you'll get better at the more we do it. At first you might feel like you only feel one side or the other, or that your awareness bounces back and forth. Don't worry about that. It's a little bit like having 2 sides of a balance, 2 sides of a scale. And you go to one side, put the weights on one side, put the weights on the other. But there's a moment where they balance out, where you can sort of be like right in between, in the middle. That's what you're feeling for with your mind. How do you hold them both? Now, if you can feel the front of the shoulder's nest area, it's a little hollow in front of the shoulder joint on the chest. Start on the surface. Again, same process. Feel the area and start to see if, from the general sense of the front of the shoulder, you can feel to the center of that space and detect the gate at its center. But it's enough to begin with just to start the process of relaxing this area, letting the mind go into it. Looking for symmetry, looking for balance without forcing the mind to bounce back and forth. Good. Now in the back, the gate that we're going to dissolve from the back of the shoulder is on the shoulder blade, but it's on the side of the shoulder blade closest to the ribs. So the inside of the shoulder blade, or the front of the shoulder blade. It's at the center of the blade. So just get a sense again, work from the outside in, work by feel, from general to more specific. Feel your shoulder blades. Feel towards the center and try to feel deep inside the body to the front of the blade. And if you get too stuck on trying to feel the shoulder blade gate, have a little bit of awareness, broaden your awareness out a little bit to the gate at the top of the shoulder and the gate at the front of the shoulder. See if you can feel all three simultaneously. That'll give you a different sense of balance and wholeness that may make it easier to activate all three simultaneously. And it's not uncommon to feel big imbalances between left and right with this, so don't worry about that too much. And just try to hold them together. Working on the quality of mind that allows you to feel your shoulders just as much as you are trying to resolve those left and right differences. And now, for the fourth gate of the shoulder, you can kind of feel in from all three. It's deep now. It's in the center of the joint. And you can locate it by coming up under the arm. Think into the armpits. And you sort of triangulate from the other three. Try to find the center of the shoulder joint. Shoulder imbalances will often come from the hips or the torso. The shoulders are sort of the end result of whatever lower body, torso kind of misalignments you've got from the ground up. So if you find yourself in having a sense of balance in the shoulders, slightly releasing, adjusting, or modifying how you hold your hips, your legs, or your torso, that's okay. Just let that happen slowly. And again, we're not at this stage primarily going for physical adjustments and physical releases. We want to activate directly with the mind to get energetic resolution. It's a lighter thing. Now, just as a whole, all four gates of the shoulders, the whole shoulder joint, both sides of the body. And release the mind, let it go. Start to sink down through the arms, through the ribs, through the chest, through the back. Something's draining out of you, and a sense of heaviness sinking through you, moving through you, dropping downward to the floor. Rib by rib, vertebra by vertebrae. Down through the diaphragm, solar plexus, the elbows, into the belly. This is a clearing out process. It's a releasing process. It's flushing energy through your system, letting it sink down. So don't get too stuck in any one place. You just need to stay there long enough for the mind to arrive, for the energy to kind of pool, and for that sinking to kind of flush through you. So through the forearms, the wrists, and the hands. Letting them hang by your sides without going dead. They should feel alive. They should feel like something's moving through them. And then down through the joints of the hips, the pelvis, the whole bowl of the pelvis. Now through the legs, like we started. Through the thighs, that heaviness down through the legs. Down all the way through the joints of the knees. Letting your mind drop through your body. And then keep coming down through the lower legs, through the ankles and feet, trying to feel the feet spreading, releasing into the feet, into the floor. Good, just feeling from the crown of the head, and a nice easy pass all the way down through the feet. Release any holding through the nerves, just in a very general, very light way. Feel that connection into the ground. And finish with a sense of just being quiet and still through the whole body. Good job.